With the Browns schedule coming out, it's an important time to remind you guys that not all schedules are created equal. As strange as that might sound, there are some major advantages and disadvantages. So I want to share that with you guys on today's show. But really quickly, an update. This upcoming Friday, May 23rd, is going to be my last day at Chat Sports and my last day hosting the Cleveland Browns Report. I'll have more updates and just intel on the whole thing on the 23rd. So I don't just keep repeating myself, but I did want to let you guys know ahead of time that this upcoming Friday will be, sadly, my last day. So bittersweet for sure, but I'll explain more then. But let's get into some of the schedule quirks and just overall advantages and, unfortunately, disadvantages that come out of it. So the first thing I want to look at before we get into the meat and potatoes, which is this second bullet point here, is no primetime games. The Browns are one of 3 teams to not have a primetime game. Primetime by the NFL is defined as a night game. For me, I define primetime for football as standalone. So difference of opinion right there. I don't care if you're playing at 9:30 in the morning in London, if you're playing on Friday night in Brazil. If you're the only game on, with the way the NFL world works, if you're the only one on, everyone's watching you. And so if everyone's watching you because there's no other game on, that, to me, gives the same feel of a primetime game. But the Browns technically have no primetime games if you exclude London. I'm not upset by this. You should not be offended by this. This should not be looked at as Cleveland versus the world. The Browns do not deserve. They won 3 games last year. I can't confidently say who their week 1 quarterback will be. Who in the right mind would want to put that on Monday night or Sunday night football? You could pity them with a Thursday night game, but are you really that upset that they're not going to play on Thursday night? I'm not. So, not an issue for me. I mean, Grant Delpit, he even tweeted out, I like playing on Sunday at 1 o'clock anyway. So, works for me. I'm with you, Grant. Now, let's look into the second kind of schedule quirk. But first things first, we are really close to 46,000 subscribers. Obviously, my goal was to get to 50K, and with the change I have coming up career-wise, that's probably not realistic. But if you can help me reach 46,000 subscribers, I would really appreciate that. Click that sub button down below if you haven't yet. Now, let's look at bullet point number 2 when it comes to some schedule quirks. The rest disadvantage. This is where the NFL screwed the Browns over. Not the primetime game. I don't care about that. It's this part right here. Because not all schedules are fair and balanced. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Look at the bottom 5 teams in net rest days. What that means is take the Raiders. Let's say the Raiders play on Sunday, week 5, and their opponent for week 6 played on Thursday in week 5. Well, when week 6 gets there, the Raiders have 3 fewer days of rest since their opponent is coming off a Thursday game. And when you stack up all of those net rest days when they work for or against you, the Browns come out at a -7 rest days, right? They have 1 less week of rest compared to their opponents. In the NFL, 1 week can mean a whole lot. Why do you think teams love their bye week? The Browns, they've got bye week taken away from them. The Lions have basically 3 bye weeks. Their bye week, and then 13 additional days of rest spread out over the calendar against their opponents. And I can see why Raiders fans always bitch about the NFL being against them. Sean Payton used to have a strong feeling that there was a vendetta against him in New Orleans, and he actually had a fair amount of evidence to point to back that up. And the thinking is the NFL was always going to find secret ways to continue to punish the Saints for Bountygate back in 2009. Yeah, 2009. So -14 for the Saints. They lost 2 weeks basically of rest. But let's talk about the Browns here. Where do these 7 days come from? There are some moments in the calendar where they are handicapped. So first time they are kind of screwed over is week 3 when they host the Green Bay Packers. If we look at it, the Browns in week 2 play on Sunday against the Ravens. All right? So just a normal back-to-back Sunday games. However, that week 2 matchup for Green Bay is on Thursday. So the Packers stroll into Cleveland with 3 extra days of rest. Move along now. Week 5, they play the Vikings in London. This one is not about days of rest, but about body clock rest. Because in week 4, the Vikings play the Steelers in Dublin, Ireland. The Browns in week 4 are playing in Detroit. So very small travel from Dublin to London. Much greater travel from either Detroit, if they go straight from week 4 to week 5 in London, or if they go back to Cleveland and then on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday hop across the pond. I think we can all agree advantage goes to Minnesota. They're already the acclimation thing is such a funny and strange thing to me. I don't know if I'm just like a travel warrior. I don't get jet lag. I just a me thing. Maybe it's one of the few, lucky breaks I have from God. I don't get the body clock thing. If it's 8 a.m., I'm hungry. If it's 8 p.m., I'm gonna get tired soon. I don't care where I am. So that I say that, and I get ready for my honeymoon in France in 2 weeks, and I'm probably gonna be wide awake at 3 a.m. now. But anyway, so yeah, advantage goes to the Vikings here. Move along. Week 6, they play in Pittsburgh, coming off London. So what were the Steelers doing while the Browns were playing in London? They were napping. They've got their bye in week 5. So not only are the Browns coming back from London and playing a game 7 days later when most teams opt for the bye after their international game, they're playing a team coming off a bye. It should be reversed. It should be the Browns having a bye after the game, after London. Not playing a well-rested, fresh Pittsburgh Steelers team. Major advantage to the Steelers here. And then week 10, they go to New York and play the Jets. All right, so advantage Steelers week 6 because they're playing the Browns when they come off the bye. So it's going to balance out because the Browns are going to play a team coming off Cleveland's bye who's going to be a little bit, banged up. No! The Browns got hosed. When they come off the bye, they play the Jets, who are also coming off the bye. The bye is good for 2 things. It allows you to get well rested, and then the next week, you have fresher legs playing against a team that was playing 7 days before. They neutered half of the advantage of the bye. So, yeah, I'll say it. The NFL screwed the Browns with all these schedule quirks, which from afar, no big deal. Week 10 against the Jets. Why is it a big deal to play in New York, right? It's a short flight. I mean, it's really short flight if you're the owner of the Browns in the movie Draft Day, where you somehow travel from the first overall pick being announced back to Cleveland, I think before pick 6. I mean, the travel time alone from Manhattan to, I would assume he flew out of Teterboro. Could have flown to the downtown. It doesn't. No, I don't think would he fly to Hopkins or downtown? Oh, that's a close one. I would think Hopkins. But anyway, BS. That's the point here. That's the takeaway, not draft day. Before we look at the rest of today's show, make sure you check out the awesome rookie jerseys available at Fanatics. When you go to chatsports.com/CLE rookies, you can get a Quinshon Judkins jersey, a Mason Graham jersey, a Shedeur Sanders jersey. I put this link down below, so if you want to support the channel, get a brand new Browns jersey from Fanatics, use chatsports.com/CLE rookies. Third thing that kind of screwed the Browns over, second thing, I don't care about this thing, but if you do, then you can call it third thing. It's a brutal start to the season. This is not what Kevin Stefanski wanted to see. I can only think of the New York Giants, who have a tougher start. They might be the greatest 1-10 team of all time. Just how tough of an opening slate they have here. So, we know the Browns open up the season at home against the Cincinnati Bengals. But after that, it does not get very easy. And if you thought that was easy, then we'll wait for this. Week 2, they got the Ravens. 12-5 Baltimore Ravens last year. Week 3, they got the Packers. 11-6 in 2024. Week 4, they got the Lions. 15-2. Look at that. I mean, they are 1 win away from Cincinnati being 4 straight opponents coming off double-digit wins a year ago. But it doesn't get much better after the first quarter of the season. Week 5, the Vikings in London, 14-3 Vikings last year. I don't expect them to be that good this year. Different quarterback, but still. And then the Steelers. The Steelers, I would argue, is the easiest opponent the first 6 weeks of the season. And it's still a 10-7 reigning Pittsburgh Steelers team who's coming off a Week 5 bye like we just discussed. It's on the road, and the Browns have never had much success in Pittsburgh. The first time they get to really catch their breath and play someone at their own weight class is Week 8 against the Patriots. And I think Vrabel's going to quickly turn that around. I think Drake May is going to have a great second season. Despite the Browns finishing dead last in the AFC North last year, which means they should play a dead last schedule, right? They play other teams' fourth place team from a year ago. The Browns have one of the toughest schedules. And a big reason why is because the division is so tough. Like, the Bengals were the next worst team at 9-8. That's how high the floor is. It's going to be difficult. So, brutal start to see the Browns have so many double-digit win teams in the first third of the season. So if I put the over-under for wins at 5.5, that might seem too low, like to an ambitious fan, but you that confident the Browns can double their win total from 3 to 6? I have them winning 6 games, but I wouldn't put a lot of money on it. So let me know what you think down below. All right, let's pick a card to wrap it all up. Shout out to Dylan, longtime viewer of the channel. The card picking, it will retire with me. I don't know who the next host will be, but I feel like it's kind of best for it to go down 6 feet under with me. 8 of hearts. Give me 5 of spades. 6 of hearts. 6 of hearts. If I get it on my last show, maybe I just don't leave. I think that has to be a sign, right? I tell my new job no. And then when I explain why, the card. Well, hopefully they understand. I don't think they'd be very receptive. All right. I'll see everyone later.